Morning. That's the right place. It's okay.
Morning. Right, so I'm just about prepared. Let's see if anybody else comes and joins us, but we'll begin nonetheless. See if that doesn't look too wonky. Okay, so we'll start our healing class in the same way, using the same warm-up exercises that we always do for the other classes. Hold on just one moment. I'm going to adjust my camera once again, although it may be imperceptible to you. It's annoying me. So we just begin in a nice shoulder width posture, the knees gently bent, the back nice and straight, the arms hanging down by the sides. Bring the mind back into the body and then lower the mind gently down into the belly. From the belly, we make this gentle turn and look back over the shoulder. Allow the body to come back to the front and do the same on the other side. This gentle turn just wakes the back up, lets you know if there's anything uncomfortable there you might have to be worried about, to take care of, and then we can just release the back and allow this exercise to begin. Holding the palms open, the palms gently tap onto the sides of the body. We can feel the impact of the wrist gently tapping the Ming Men Gate, the small of the back. We can feel the impact of the hands, our forearms really, tapping onto the belly button. And so we're stimulating the Ming Men Gate on the small of the back, and we're stimulating Du Qi on the belly button. And so these are the two sort of primary pathways for Qi to flow in and out of the lower energy fields, lower Dantian. We can just gently stimulate those, open those, and allow the Qi to flow in, flow out as is required to bring about balance. As we turn, our spine gently wakes up. This movement obviously works on the shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Gently moves the hips, the knees, and the ankles even. A very nice way just to get the body going. We'll engage the neck a little bit more deeply in a moment, for the time being. Nice thing about having a regular little set of exercises that you can always do, that you're familiar with, such as my opening set, is that it also helps you bring yourself into that Qi state. This is what we're really trying to achieve when we do our Qigong, is to bring ourselves into this incredible stillness. Very often when you hear modern sportsmen talking, they talk about being in a flow state. It's about bringing yourself into the flow state, but it's also a different state to that as well. I think there's aspects to flow. It's not quite as clear cut as they might think. I think there's levels and layers of flow state. And there's also this kind of meditational place. I don't know. Annette and Anya join us as well. It's lovely. Good morning. Nice to see you guys. So we have this idea that by using our introductory exercises, we can bring ourselves into a place that our body understands very quickly. A place that seems very familiar for us. A place that stills our minds. Okay, so allow your body just to slow down a little bit. And then start to open up slightly. Stretch a little bit more. Look back over the shoulder. And now we engage the neck as well. So what is this thing that sportsmen talk about, flow state? Where is the place that we get to when we meditate? Does anything lie beyond it? And so I think there's a lovely neutrality that we can bring about in our minds. And when we find this neutral state, the body can then work as it would like to do without the mind getting involved. And so I think that's where sportsmen find the ability, is that they train their bodies so well that when you can get the mind out of the way, the body does its thing. And that's kind of flow state. Meditation, same idea, just sitting or standing and getting the mind to stop. These are great ideas. And people can become very obsessed with the idea that they're great meditators. I can stop my mind for 10 hours a day, 10 days in a row. I do Vipassana. And it's a bit like saying, what's another endurance thing? Yeah, it's like a bit like saying I can walk to the North Pole, 10 days walking through the snow. And that's a sort of flow state as well. And so we have this kind of idea that meditation is the top of the mountain, if you like. I don't feel that at all. I feel that meditation is just gently switching your mind off, stopping your mind from working. I'm not sure it's a great attainment. I think it's a very important thing to do, to get yourself some quiet. And that's what we're trying to do with our Qigong. That's why Qigong is called moving meditation, because we're trying to get that perspective on ourselves, trying to get the body to lead the mind into a quiet place. But that is not the be all and end all of it, people. I'm afraid people who sit on a mat for 10 hours a day have missed the point. They've put themselves so thoroughly to sleep that, well, okay. So the question is, can you then transcend your meditation state and move to the next space? And I know an awful lot of people who meditate can do that, so I shouldn't just write it off wholesale. Okay, so what is the next state? And the next state is finding one's path to one's true self, to consciousness. Okay, so let's leave that idea for a moment. Let's let the body slow down, gently come to a stop. Sometimes you'll find after a sustained session of that, your body wants to keep moving, the internal energy wants to keep moving, so let the whole thing stop. And then plant your hands in the earth and lift chi up. And then gently draw the energy down through your body. Drawing from the head, moving into the chest, deep into the belly. And then relax and release the hands. So gather. Draw. So I tend to find that after a bit of practice, 3 times is enough for this exercise for me. But that's because I've got practiced at it. So if you want to do it 10 times, please do. What we're looking for is a state of steadiness where you don't feel lightheaded, where your body feels settled and calm, where you haven't brought yourself down too much, because this exercise is about calming and relaxing, but also we can take it too far the other side, and we can bring ourselves into a state where we've become low blood pressure, or not depressed, but low energy perhaps. So just make sure you know how to balance that in your body. Let's do some simple forward and back bends to complement the revolution in the last exercise. So first of all, just gather chi one more time, lift the hands up in the air. Then we've got the hands up in the air, we'll do our forward bends. So stretch up into the blue sky, tip over the head, the arms, the ears, and let the head gently lead the arms down until we get to a comfortable forward bend. Okay, so keep the knees soft. Just let the body relax there. Release the back of the neck as much as you can so the neck just hangs down. Let's softly extend towards our toes and release, just in line with the roots of our toes. And release, working towards our insteps and release, and eventually working towards our heels. Body just relaxes and hangs. Tailbone gently lifts up behind. Push the tailbone toward the front of the body. Roll the spine up. Bring up the head, arms, and ears. Stretch up into the blue sky. Let the knees and hips go forward as you lean gently back. Stretching up and gently back. Up and back. Up and gently back. Hands into the blue sky. Let's do some side bends. So left hand goes down, right hand stretching up and open. Down on the right. Left hand gently stretches up and opens. On the left. And on the right. Good, just bring the hands back up into the blue sky. Okay, so let's go through again. Tipping over head, arms and ears, rolling the spine down, allowing ourselves to relax down into an easy, comfortable bend. The body just easily hangs here. The knees are soft, back of the neck is relaxed. Extend gently towards your toes. And release, in line with the roots of your toes. And release, toward the insteps. And release, towards the heels. And release. Tailbone lifts up behind, tailbone pushes to the front, head, arms, and ears roll up. Stretch up into the blue sky. Knees and hips drift forward as you lean back. Stretching up, and gently back. Up, and back. Up, and back. Hands up into the blue sky. Left hand arcs down. Down on the right. On the left. And on the right. Lovely. Hands up. Let's do this with straight legs then, just to get our hamstrings a little extra stretch. Head, arms, and ears tip over, rolling down. Gently over into the full bend, pike bend, but keep the legs as straight as you can. So we gently drift the weight forward into the toes and really feel the hamstrings open.
Relax the neck as much as you can. Extend softly towards the toes. And release in line with the roots of your toes. And release. Working towards the insteps. And release. Working towards the heels. Body hangs and relaxes. Tailbone lifts up behind. Tailbone pushes to the front. Spine rolls up. Head, arms, and ears gently gather. Stretch to the blue sky. Knees and hips go forward as you lean back. Stretch up and gently back. Stretch up, gently back. Up and gently back. Left hand goes down. Right hand goes down. Down on the left. And down on the right. Good. Draw hands up into the blue sky. Last time through with nice straight legs. Tipping over just the top of the spine. Rolling into the upper, middle, and lower parts of the spine. Body relaxes and hangs. Back of the neck nice and soft. Extending gently towards the toes. And release. In line with the roots of our toes. And release. Working towards the insteps. Release. Working towards the heels. Body relaxes and hangs. Tailbone lifts up behind. Tailbone pushes to the front. Spine gently rolls up. Head, arms, and ears gently roll up. Up to full height stretch. Knees and hips forward as you lean back. Stretching up and gently back. Up and back. Up and back. Hands up into the blue sky. Left hand arcs down. Down on the right side. On the left. And on the right. Draw the hands up into the blue sky. Just allow the hands to pour chi through the body for a moment. Imagine this shower of chi pouring through, washing the whole body clean, filling every cell with chi. Hands in the blue sky, and then just release the hands down the sides. Bring the hands down. Let's gather chi a few times. So lift chi up. And pour chi down. Draw the chi deep into the belly. Let's gather. And draw the chi down. Moving from the head deep into the chest. And finally going deep into the belly. Before we just release the hands, allow the chi to connect through the legs into the earth. Once more, this beautiful circuit of chi. Gathering energy above, drawing energy down below, down into the belly. Okay, so next time we do this exercise, we can just leave the hands on the belly. So one more time. Actually, that's not strictly true. If you need to do it 5 more times, that's fine. But hopefully just one more time will be enough to make you feel comfortable, relaxed, calm, centered, And then the hands settling on the belly have that effect as well. When we bring ourselves back to lower dantian, when we bring our mind back into lower dantian, very often that just does it as well. So we can just settle the hands deep there, mind behind the belly. I suppose I've been thinking a little bit about Buddhist monks, meditation, that kind of thing. And I do want to say that the point about having a meditation practice is that someone who has a meditation practice that lasts an hour or two every day, you'll find them to be the most calm and settled and centered people, as well as people who do Sheneng Qigong. And so I find that an hour of Qigong and an hour of standing meditation is incredibly calming and brings me to a calm state that I rarely had in my youth, as it were. I think maybe, you might even say 3 or 4 hours of meditation every day. But if what you've decided to do is meditate all day, that's very strange. That's like taking anything to its extreme. And I think the other thing as well, which is locking yourself away on a mountaintop for the rest of your life to meditate and to do gardening. That sounds very nice, but I think we all have a responsibility to society. I think we need to live this life. I think we need to be in it and be helping each other and be part of the flow, be part of the Tao. So again, restrictive practices make no sense to me whatsoever. And if they do to you, then my apologies, my opinion only, of course. But I think Qi needs to flow in exactly the same way that if you use tension and stress during your Qigong, you're only ever going to get hurt. You're creating a blockage in your life. And I think that also, forswearing sex and sitting on a mountaintop for the rest of your life is creating a blockage as well. But each to their own, it's a free world. So what I look for is balance. Balance in my daily life. I like to try and practice my Qigong in the mornings. I like to do standing meditation in the evenings. I like to try and find a steadiness before bedtime. I sleep remarkably well on the back of it. So we can start to feel the Qi gathering behind the belly button. Mind in lower dantian. So as we soldier through our daily life, we need many tools to make that happen. I have to put on my mask as a teacher to get us through this session. I have to put my 6 o'clock, put my mask as a husband on. 7 o'clock, or 5 o'clock, whatever it is, put my mask as a chef on to get through these tasks, to make my way through the sort of family life. Mask as a dad, husband, healer, whatever it might be. All of these different roles that I'm asked to play in the stage show, Jeremy Colledge Live, my personal stage show. The question is, what stands behind all of that? What drives this story? Who wears the mask? So I've been drawn back again many times, as I always am, to Sri Ramana Maharshi, who's just an astonishing being. Yes, was an astonishing being. This deep question, who am I? Well, I'm Jeremy, the teacher. Yeah, but is that really who you are? Is that all you are? Okay, so maybe I'm not that. Perhaps I'm just Jeremy, the husband. But that's not it alone. And then start to see the constructs of the many pieces of the jigsaw that make up Jeremy. As Teacher Lou is fond of saying, all this rubbish covering over your true self. I love that. I think it's such a nice image. This idea that in there is you, but you've piled layers and layers of rubbish on top so nobody can actually really see the real you. You've created all these facades. You're like a multifaceted diamond shining brightly. But the real core of you, what's that? Well, I don't mean to destroy your own path of self-annihilation or self-examination, but this is the kind of path of contemplation, which I feel is beyond meditation. So meditation can create the platform upon which you still yourself. And then contemplation, asking the questions, who am I? And then sitting and listening for the answer. And so as we ask this question, it's often very good to write down the answers, then look at them and cross them out, say, no, that's not me. Bit by bit, I don't want to, as I say, spoil it, spoiler alert, as it were. You find out you're none of the things you thought you were. You're none of the things you were told that you are. You're none of the things that society demanded you be. You were none of the things that religion told you how to behave. That you weren't your parents after all. And when you start to cut away all of these things, what's left? It seems like you might dial yourself away to nothing. Jed McKenna, the author who I do so love, he suggests it's like death of 1,000 cuts. Bit by bit, you slice off another bit of you, and you slice off another bit. And how far are we going to go down until we get to the core? The question is, what is going to be left? Who is going to be left? Will there be an I after all? So bit by bit, we whittle away at the I until we realize that this ego construct is just part of the game. That the deeper we look, we find that we are pure consciousness. It's interesting because in Dr. Pang's translation, he calls it true self. The question is there even a self? So perhaps it's just true. Just true. That feels quite binary as well, because true is always paired with false. 1 paired with 0 in computing. Black paired with white. Day paired with night. And so when we dissolve ourselves down to the basic parts, there is still duality. And that's where the next step goes, into unity consciousness, where you just become one with everything. Where the raindrop returns to the ocean. Where you can find yourself in this absolute oneness consciousness with everyone and everything. I look into your eyes and I see myself. We are quite literally all one at this level. So when we find this unity consciousness, when we find this oneness with everything around us, the understanding then is that there is nothing to be done, nothing to worry about, Everything is just an event. Every aspect of your character, just an event. Just a tool you pulled out of the box to make the next part of the path happen. There's a wonderful story. I forget the author's name now. About the Zen archer and how for years you don't even aim at the target while you're practicing. It's just about finding the moment before you're about to let go of the bowstring. About releasing the bowstring in the present moment without thinking about releasing the bowstring. Because by the time you've had the thought, it's time to let go, it's all too late by then. The spontaneous uprising in unity consciousness of the moment when the release of the bowstring goes is where the Zen archer discovers himself. And so too for us. It's discovering the moment before the thought arrives. That's where the present moment lies. And how do we do that? Well, as I say, the peeling away of the layers using the question, who am I? It's really powerful. It's a great thing to try, even though you know where it's headed. Even though I've told you what I feel is the path. It's interesting for you to do for yourself. Sometimes you can take 10 minutes, sometimes you can take 10 hours, sometimes you can take 10 years. How do you find yourself moving from this all-encompassing, very complete game that we live in that seems so astonishingly real? How do you find your way out of the game? Many paths, I feel. Many roads to the top of the mountain. The first one I feel is just becoming the observer of yourself. Because if you can give one remove, as it were, step back out of your body and view yourself. If you can hold yourself at one remove, you've already inserted a layer between reality and yourself. Stepping back from this daily life and watching it, observing how Jeremy reacts when somebody says something, and stepping back and saying, that was interesting. I wonder why he chose to say that. I wonder why he chose to do that. React in that way. Feeling into the emotion of that life. And understanding the triggers that brought that about. And then gently healing those triggers. So at one remove, we might find Jeremy driving through heavy traffic, somebody cutting in front of him, Jeremy saying, "Arr!" And we might look and just say, but why? Well, because people are not supposed to do that. Sounds like a very strong part of Jeremy's society mind kicking off there. Rules and regulations. Why does Jeremy feel so strongly about those rules and regulations? We find Jeremy's dad standing in the background, who also felt very strongly about society rules. So now we can see Jeremy's dad looking over Jeremy's shoulder, and the two of them reacting together. And at some stage, that story needs to be healed, needs to be put to bed. Is it necessary to shout at people? Is it necessary to be cross? Is it good for your blood pressure? And so we look over the shoulder of Jeremy and see how he reacts, see how he's playing this game. So from the consciousness perspective, it's possible to view ourselves. So the truth of the matter is there any truth? Have you just made up this idea yourself? Are you just pretending this is how it is? Well, there's that horrible phrase, which I really detest, fake it until you make it. But somehow there is a truth in that. It wouldn't have become such common parlance unless it really had some reason for it. And so the idea that fake it until you make it, but it's also practice makes perfect. They run alongside each other, because fake it till you make it suggests that you get yourself into a position and then you learn quickly. And that's exactly it. So we put ourselves into this position and we start this process of pretending to be our higher self, pretending to be the observer of our life. And very soon that starts to become your attitude. That starts to become your true position. Because suddenly you're occupying the space of higher ground. You're occupying the space of what consciousness might be like. And you're allowing the possibility of that to become who you are. So just gently stand here for a moment. Release your hands a little bit if they've still in your tummy. Let them float wherever they wish to be. As you stand here, imagine how you connect through your feet into the ground. Imagine the flow of energy flowing up into your body from below. Imagine the feeling of opening up Bai Hui and having the heavens pour qi down into your body. You in perfect harmony between heaven and earth, qi flowing up and qi flowing down. Open every pore on your skin. Open every acupuncture point around your body. Feel that you can draw qi in from nature all around you. So now we have this wonderful open feeling. Our body's absorbing qi. But of course, we also have this ability to gently release anything that's no longer required. You don't need an inventory of it. You don't need to say, oh, today I'm letting go of my anger around blah, blah, blah. Because just letting go is enough. Feel you can gently let go of some of these masks that you've held. Angry child, hurt child. Let them go. We can make up a box full of masks for the charity shop, ready to be given away. You don't need them anymore. The patterns that you've used to guide yourself that no longer serve you, why hold on? So this opens us up to a layer of vulnerability, because we're letting go of tools that we've felt safe behind. But the truth of the matter is that you can never really be your true self unless you're prepared to be open. So let's talk about fear. Fear stops you from walking behind the football stadium just after the match is finished.
going down an alleyway late at night. Fear takes a percentage guess at the surroundings and says to you, probably not, doesn't seem like a good idea. 9 times out of 10, we listen to it. Fear also has echoes from the past. Once upon a time, I said this, my father hit me, and now I don't like to speak out. Irrespective of the fact that my father has been gone for 20 or 30 years, I still don't feel safe to speak out. Well, why ever not? Is that past event that holds you back still happening to you now? Is it happening at this very moment? Don't get me wrong. If abuse is happening to you now, get help, get it sorted. But if they're patterns from your past that are keeping you pinned in place, like a butterfly in some crazy collector's collection with a pin through you, that old story, is it still happening to you at this very moment? But does it govern your whole life? Why? Time to let go. So we gently dissolve the fear. That old adage, fear, the letters F, false, evidence, appears real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. So true. We let all these old stories have some bearing on our modern life. I remember a story, I can't remember the author. He says, my girlfriend had red hair and drove a blue convertible. She left me for another man. But now, when I see a blue convertible, I think of her, and I think of the pain, and I think of that, and I wonder if my partner's cheating on me, and I wonder if it was me, and I wonder if, and this cascade of stories arrives. The blue convertible didn't have his girlfriend in it. His girlfriend is long gone, but just the sight of the blue convertible is enough to make him sort of collapse into this set of questioning about himself. And you see how ridiculous that is. It has no bearing at all. It's just a tiny trigger that sparks an avalanche of self-doubt. Old stories acting on the present. Let them go. Let them go. So when we start to take up our true self perspective, we see these stories for what they are. Dissolve them. So now in our dissolved state, we're able to allow chi to flow into the body with great ease. And it always seems like a very simple idea. Gather chi deep inside your body. Allow all this wonderful chi to surge up from the earth, down from the heavens, in from nature, into your body. But the letting go idea doesn't seem so easy. What do I let go of? How do I let go? Well, the first thing is, of course, this idea, delving into who am I? Is that my story? No, it feels like my dad's story. It feels like my mum's story. It feels like somebody else's story. Let that go. All right. Just feel like you can gently pull it out at the root, snip it off, whatever it is that appeals to you as an image. Gently draw that idea out and release it. So when I say let go from the core, I really mean it. I really mean that we search deep inside. Who hurt you? Who was the problem? Where does it root itself in your physicality?
Can you remove it? Can you pull it out? So very often, I used to do this thing which was called cutting the ties. This idea that we have anchored connections that attach to our body. It's like this idea of the net, the internet, computers all over the world, communicating with each other, connected with each other. Humans all over the world, connected through the chi field with each other. No time, no past, no present. No time, no space. So are you still connected to someone who is long gone from this realm? Is your grandparents, are your grandparents still holding on to you in some way? Very often we hear these stories. Oh, grandma died of cancer, and then my mum died of cancer. It's bound to come down to me. It's not bound to come down to you at all. But if you ask it to, it will. If you hold on to that family lineage, sure, help yourself. That's a really, really powerful story that people carry. Family lines of problems. My uncle was depressed. My father was depressed. I get depressed. It's this kind of idea. These things have to apply to you. You're giving those ideas permission to be in your life. Sure, do it if you wish. I can't stop you harming yourself. But it's not necessary. You don't need to do that. I give you permission right now to no longer tell yourself those hurtful stories. Just feel your body. Does there feel like a part of your body that's connected to something? Unhealthily connected to something? Because when we're in the chi field, there's this very healthy connection. There's this lovely idea that we can be connected to any Zhenying Qigong practitioners around the globe, all the teachers and Dr. Pang, that we can be in the same chi field as all of them, and that we can get their great healing energy pouring into us. But you might also be connected on a different level to your ex-partner, your father, your mother, your uncle, your auntie, your business colleagues. And it's not on a chi field level, it's on an unhealthy level. There's still pain there. There's still, when you think about them, you think, oh God, I could have done better, or they could have done better, whatever the feeling is. Where does it feel like it plugs into you? Does it feel like it plugs right into your heart, perhaps? Perhaps it feels like it plugs into your lungs. Our lungs, they hold so much sorrow, shame, guilt, grief, sadness deep inside our lungs. Perhaps we feel like there are suckers attached deep inside our lungs, deep inside our heart. Who knows? Kidneys, liver, stomach, deep inside your gut. Where? Or brain, of course, deep inside your brain. Where do these unhealthy tendrils attach to your body? So when we used to do this idea in medical Qigong, we used to take the sword of righteousness. So you imagine standing beside you, a beautiful being. What do you fancy? Like an angel, perhaps? No, it could be the angel Gabriel standing beside you, whatever, someone who makes sense to you. A powerful being, perhaps it's a Taoist character, perhaps it's a Buddhist character, perhaps it's Jesus, whoever, someone who makes real sense. So let's have this wonderful savior person standing beside you with their glistening sword of righteousness. What you're going to do is you're going to imagine where this connection comes to your body. And we're going to ask this
righteous being to lift up their sword, glinting in the sun above. And then with a swing, they cut through the cord, severing this terrible connection between you and someone else. Feel release, feel that let's go, let go. Allow it to spool back from whence it came. Allow it to flop dead on the floor. And you feel released at the deepest level. Letting go of some unhealthy connection. You can allow it to go back to whence it came. You can feel free and open and but not disconnected. That's interesting, isn't it? I was going to say, and feel disconnected, but that's not the way of it. Because sometimes we have incredibly unhealthy attachments to people, but we also have healthy attachments to them as well. So we can feel in this kind of severing moment where we cut and slice. The unhealthy attachment is gone. It doesn't mean that people drop out of your lives. It just changes the way you feel with that person. And it changes the way they connect to you. So whilst you might still be happily connected to that person, all of the negative stuff may just be gone. We don't have to burn every bridge. We just have to change our relationship. So anytime you feel you've found something, a connection at a deep level with someone that doesn't help, take your sword of righteousness and slice through, cut loose, let it go. And sometimes when we unroot something from deep inside our body, it can almost feel like it leaves an energetic hole in your chi field. You might feel a bit like Swiss cheese, holes through your soul. And so what are we going to do? I think we have to fill those back up again. So we can gather chi in any way you fancy and just radiate chi back into your body. Feel that you can complete your energy field again. Feel that you can fill the holes in your heart or lungs, stomach, or wherever it might be. You can allow wonderful chi to flow back deep inside your body and heal your body at the deepest level. So we can stand back and we can look at our bodies from a viewpoint. So sometimes people find it difficult to have a visual mind. You could imagine yourself as a stick person in front of you, a stick person on a page, something very simple. But where does that stick person need their healing sent? Or perhaps you have a perfect visualization of yourself standing in front. However it might be, we can do La Chi, gently opening the hands and letting everything dissolve, bringing the hands back together, sending amazing chi inside. So heal that body with a gentle La Chi movement. Allow the chi of the universe to swamp that body, healing it at every level. Allow the chi to flow into that body, knowing that you can bring about complete healing. So from your consciousness perspective, you command the vastness of the universe. You command the unity of the universe. You are the universe. Not difficult to heal that little two-dimensional, three-dimensional being. Not difficult at all. As you open your hands, the chi of the universe flows. As you draw your hands back, this little creation of Jeremy fills with chi back into perfect working order. There's a very simple idea of letting go. Open and dissolve. Allow the chi to fill the entire universe. Draw chi back Allow the chi to fill this little micro universe of its own, this little chi being. This little chi being doesn't need to suffer. This little chi being doesn't need hurt. This little chi being doesn't need pain and stress and trauma. This little chi being can just have a happy life. So allow the universe to flow through every aspect of this chi being. Allow complete and utter openness. Kai brings about this complete universal opening. It's like a dark house, and then you open the door to the sunshine and it floods in, bathing everything in light. Her brings about total focus. This is like the difference between a light bulb that gently illuminates a whole room and a laser beam that's able to cut through metal. We focus in such a way that the energy pours back into the body. Deep, deep concentration, fixing and healing everything. Whole body open, whole body dissolve. Healing chi goes deep inside, bringing about complete and utter healing. Feel the softness of the universe, the vastness of the universe. Feel the micro universe that is you in perfect working order. Everything in perfect working order. All functions of the body returning to perfect working order. All functions of your emotions returning to perfect working order. All functions of your spiritual self clarifying and returning to perfect working order. Whole body, whole life, perfect working order. So let's just gently bring ourselves back into our bodies, bring our hands back to our bellies, really sort of feel your physicality. So just remember that we don't get instant healing sometimes. Sometimes we just have to set the ball rolling. And then as we do so, the healing begins. So be patient with your body. Sometimes it takes a little while to catch up. But heal at will. You have set it off on a trajectory of healing. And sometimes our healing might take us 5 years, 10 years. But every day is a step forwards on that healing path. Every day, cell by cell, your body starts to build. So as soon as we take away those patterns that hold us chained in place, we start to move forward with our healing journey. Let your healing journey begin right here and move forward step by step, day by day. So we can feel our hands in our belly, and we can feel our way into lower dantian, and we can feel this amazing energy field deep inside. Lower dantian chi is abundant, blood and chi flowing well. The energy from lower dantian can spread down through your hips, to your thighs, your knees, your calves, your Achilles, ankles, feet. We can allow it to swell in the lower dantian. Allow the whole of the lower body. Move it up into the middle dantian, the whole of the middle of the body. Up into upper dantian. Feel these 3 dantians perfectly connected. Qi flowing up and down. From lower dantian, you can flow qi up your spine, up into your brain, illuminating your neck and your shoulders, your arms, all the way down through the elbows, wrists, and fingertips. The whole back of your body. Illuminate from the back of the head, down the back of your neck, down the back of your shoulders, all the way down into your lower back, over your bum and down your thighs, all the way back down to your Achilles tendon. Down the sides of the body, sides of your head, sides of your neck, shoulders and sides of your arms, and then down the sides of your body from armpit downwards to your hips, down the outside of your legs, all the way down to the outside of your feet, the inside of the legs too, don't forget. And the front of the body, much easier to feel. Imagine the qi flowing from the top of the head down over your face, flowing down over your throat, down over your chest, down over your tummy, over your hips, and down over your thighs, knees, shins, top of the feet, soles of the feet. Just see if there's anything that needs directly filling with qi. Put your mind there for a moment, if there is. Allow the qi to create space, allow the qi to create healing, allow that part of the body just to heal instantaneously. Whole body relax, mind expands, body open, and all functions returning to perfect working order. Just feel the truth of that. All functions normal. How amazing. So just bring our feet together. Let's close in the Zheneng Qigong way. So let's just bring our hands up into the prayer position in front of the heart. Extend the hands up, front of the face, over the crown of the head, and then up into the blue sky. Whole body opens. Let the hands drift down a bit and the knees soften, open up, little fingers, ring fingers, middle fingers, the hands split to the sides, come round to the front. We send qi deep inside the brain. Upper dantian qi is abundant and blood and qi flow well. Brain functions strong and working well. We draw the elbows back and hands underneath the arms. We lightly touch Da Bao. We send the qi deep into the middle energy field. Middle dantian qi abundant, blood and qi flowing well, all organs of the body in perfect working order. Drift the hands directly behind, pointing to the horizon behind. Then the back of the hands drift forwards. When they're in line with the side of the body, they flip over, take a wave of qi out into the blue sky. And then we draw qi back for lower dantian. Draw your hands back to lower dantian. Allow the hands to settle there. And just allow this qi to penetrate deep inside. An abundance of energy in lower dantian. Blood and qi flow well throughout the whole body. Let's gently turn circles. 3 easy circles round lower dantian. This just collects any excess energy and draws it back deep inside the body. Then we can go 3 circles in the opposite direction. As we do so, we just collect qi, we hold it inside. We have this store of energy which we can use whenever we need it. Let the hands just come to a rest on the belly. Whole body relaxes. See yourself inside your Wei Qi layer. This beautiful layer of qi around your skin protecting you. And then we think of the qi body. A meter above, behind, below, to the sides, this lovely qi body, protecting you, connecting you, keeping you safe. See yourself as a being of light inside this wonderful qi body. Everything in the world, your body working well. All functions normal. All functions of your body normal. Let the hands gently relax down by the side. Slowly open the eyes. Let's move the fingers. Let's move the toes. Have a little stretch out. Lovely. And then if you'd be kind enough to unmute yourselves, we'll all say Haola together. Haola means good already. All this work we've done is already taking place. We'll say hala 3 times. Hands up in the air. 1, 2. Ha-la. 1, 2. Ha-la. 1, 2. Ha-la. Lovely. So nice to see you people here today. Lovely to work with you. The recording will go up online, so please share it with your friends if you wish. It'll go up online in due course. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. It
Thanks,
was
everyone.
a joy coming from you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.